Hey guys, happy 4th of July. Nothing says 4th of July like talking about some firearm related stuff. Today we're going to be looking at some defensive rounds, what rounds that I have chosen to be my permanent defensive rounds, and what rounds you should be looking at when you are looking for your own set of defensive rounds. Really what you have to focus on is not every gun is the same. Okay, you might have one gun that feeds really reliably with a certain kind of ammo, and then you have another gun that doesn't. Okay, I think of it as each gun has its own personality. So when you're choosing your defensive rounds, you need to make sure that you try a bunch of different kinds and a bunch of different grains, because there are different grains and there are different companies that all make their bullets. There's nickel plated, there's brass, there's 115 grain, 124 grain, 147, 135. You pretty much got to try them all, especially for your carry gun, because your carry gun might really like a certain type of ammo. I'm going to share with you today the 2 rounds that I use in all of my guns, and both of them are actually from the same company. Both of them are from Hornady. One of them is the Hornady Critical Duty. The other one is the Hornady Critical Defense. One thing you're going to notice is I like a certain type of round. I only go with nickel plated rounds. One thing that nickel plated rounds do is they are corrosion resistant. Okay, so if you're not going to fire these off and they're going to stay in your magazine, they're not going to corrode on you. They reduce recoil and muzzle flash as you're firing them. And also you will see that they have that polymer tip in there. And what that polymer tip does is it's a anti-snag device. So when it gets fired at somebody and they have really heavy clothing, it's designed to go through that clothing and then balloon after the clothing. So the petals spread apart after the clothing. What you're going to find with a lot of rounds that don't have that is they're going to hit the clothing and then it's going to mushroom out. And you don't want it to mushroom out inside of the jacket. You want it to go through the clothing and then hit the target and then spread. And that's really cool thing that they have done with this round. So this is what they look like right here. I'll kind of show it up there one at a time. Hopefully you can see that. All right, that's one. They look exactly the same, and I'll show you the difference when we get there. Okay, now mainly the 2 differences in looks between these 2 rounds, they are exactly the same size. It's just if you look at the polymer tips, one is bigger than the other. So Critical Duty is slightly bigger than the Critical Defense. So why would I choose 2 rounds that look exactly the same thing? Well, it's mission oriented. So if I think I am going to be shooting through some kind of barriers, I'm going to go with the Critical Duty. Now, Critical Duty is actually a law enforcement type of round. This one's 135 grains, so it really does pack a punch. This is designed to go through all sorts of barriers. So like drywall, sheet metal, auto glass, clothing, a lot of important things this round needed to do in order to pass all those tests. And it did, because that's usually the type of situations that law enforcement get into. Now, if you think there is ever a chance that you're going to get into a gunfight shooting through your own vehicle, this might be around for you. Now, keep in mind, this is optimized for longer barreled pistols. So what I use is I actually use my Glock 19X with the Radian Ramjet barrel. So it's a little bit longer of a barrel. It looks like this guy right here. Okay, because it has the longer barrel in it. This is actually the gun that I choose for this type of round. And the reason I choose it for this type of round is because this is like my, hey, I'm going to the mall or I'm going to a spot where I really think I'm going to need a larger size firearm, or if I'm carrying a firearm during the winter time, that's usually the type of gun that I'm going to carry with me. And I really like it because it's very versatile. Okay, it goes through walls. So if you're afraid of a round that goes through walls, like inside of your house, this is probably not the round for you, because it is going to go through some walls and possibly hit people through the walls if you're not careful on where you're actually shooting this. Now, this is actually a 135 grain bullet. I believe it, let me see. I believe this also comes in 124 grains, but what I found with my gun and my testing is that actually 135 grain works better for my two larger firearms, the Glock 45 and the Glock 19X. I would recommend trying both grains just to see which one your gun likes, which one shoots better with the red dot. If you're looking to get into this round right here, it's roughly, I believe the price I just saw at Dunham's here in Michigan was about $34 per box of 20. Okay, so you're looking at, I don't know, $1.30-ish per round. So it's kind of an expensive round, but in my opinion, if you're really looking into getting into a firearm that you need that extra penetration, this is the one to go for. It has been tested by the FBI. It is good to go. All right, the other one that I've been using pretty much consistently from the very beginning was actually the Critical Defense. Now this one is actually designed for concealed carry. So your shorter barrel, you can use this in a firearm like the Glock 19X. You can use it in that. You can also use it in shorter barreled firearms like I have here. I've actually tested this in this firearm and it did incredibly well. This is the Shadow System CR920P. This performed exceptionally well in this firearm. There's been testing done that this does go through heavy clothing. Okay, you're mainly just trying to hit the person with this round. This is a safe round to use in your house. It will not go through walls. It might go through one, but I highly doubt it's going to go much farther than that first wall. This round is going for about $30 a box, so you're looking at about $1.20 a round for 20 of them. And it comes in 115 grain, 124 grain, and 147. I highly recommend staying away from the 115 grain because it is not a great, 115 grain is not a great defensive round and it's kind of underpowered. But this is actually 124 grain. I tried the 147s. I didn't like them. I stick with the 124 grains, and I'd say all my firearms fire these incredibly well. They fire them incredibly reliably, and I've had zero issues with any of these rounds. Now I kind of have one outlier, you might say. If you don't really want to spend that money on defensive rounds, which I highly recommend spending money on the defensive rounds. If you don't want to spend that money, you can always, this is very controversial for some people, you can always use ball ammo, so range ammo in your gun. Range ammo will go through vehicles. So if you're incredibly worried that you're going to get in a gunfight inside of your vehicle and you know you're going to have to go through some kind of barrier, carrying just standard ball ammo will work. Okay, it will work. I believe when I first started, this is what I was carrying just because I didn't really know that much about defensive rounds. But these will go through barriers. These are great rounds if you're worried about penetration type of work with your firearm. Now keep in mind, 99% of us out there will never ever get into a gunfight of any kind. I just want to give you guys some solid advice on what I've used in my 10 years of carry. Another big part on why I chose these rounds right here is because they are readily available at the stores. The one thing I hate doing is I hate buying ammo online because when you ship it to your house, you always have to sign for it. And I'm never there at the time they come to sign for it. And I always got to track them down. I just absolutely hate that. So pretty much all the stores that I go shopping at, like Cabela's and Dunham's, have these rounds readily available in their stores. And that is a big reason why I chose these two rounds as my defensive rounds. But I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope this helped somebody out there on their decision on defensive rounds, on what they want to try to carry. I recommend trying as many as you possibly can. Remember, each gun is slightly different than the next one. Okay, your Glock is not going to be the same as your SIG's not going to be the same as your CZ. So try them all, figure out which one your gun likes and which one feels right when you are shooting it, i.e. recoil. All right, but I hope you guys got something out of this video. Remember to train hard, get strong, be a protector. If no one said they love you today, I love you guys. God bless you all.